Hey everybody, Fergie with RecordingCrave.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I always appreciate it. Hey, last week I did a live video stream on YouTube here on mixing rock. And what I did, I just got done finishing editing all of that. And I have it available for you right here. I was able to chop it down to about an hour and 40 minutes or so. And what I've also done in the description below, I've placed a link there where you can get the audio files for this session so you can work on your own mixing at your home studio. Now, they're available now. I may take them down in the future. I don't know yet. If the link is visible, then the audio files are available. If it's not visible, then they're no longer available. I'm also doing a second video on completing this mix that we didn't have time to complete in the first video. We got about 85% of the way done with the mix, but there's a few things left to do, and that will be coming hopefully this week. It just takes a long time to edit these videos, so it won't be live, but it will be recorded, and I will post it as soon as it's done. So enjoy the edited live stream video from last week, and grab those audio files down below in the description. Hey everybody. Looks like we're going to go live here. Let's take a listen to this track real quick. Just play a small portion of the song. This is the original mix. We're going to remix it, change some things on the drums, and we're going to try to keep some elements from the original mix yet.
Come on, yeah. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed
This is the original mix that we're going to use as a reference track. We're going to change some things on it though.
I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little cover.
Okay, that was the original mix that I had done. Gonna remix it right now with y'all. So we'll see how long this takes. I'm not generally a fast mixer, but I have mixed this one before, so I kind of know what I'm getting into. And I tracked all these basically in the room that I'm in right now. So all the drums, the guitars, the bass, I actually had another guy track at his location, he sent them back to me. So the bass was the only thing not tracked in my studio here. And this is all about home studio recording and how to get a professional sound in your home studio, which I know a lot of you do. And this is all going to be very preference based when it comes to mixing. But what I want to do is change the kick sound for sure and the drum sound just a little bit on this mix, and then keep some of the original mix elements in there. So let's listen to what the raw tracks sound like. We won't listen to too much. Okay, so no processing at all, and this is what the track sounds like raw. Everything's set at Unity right now. I do have all my aux tracks set up already. Okay, so that is the raw session here. So what I'm going to do here is select all of these tracks, and then I'm going to pull these faders down a little bit because we got some unevenness going on. So I'm going to pull them down to about -20. And then I'm going to go back over here to my master out and push Alt on my keyboard and click that, and that will take it to 0. And I will do the same thing with my submix and go to 0 there. And then when I mix, I usually start from the bottom and go up. We're going to start with the drums here, and I am going to solo, and I'm going to group those. So I'm going to click all those drums, and I'm going to go Control G. Okay, so we got the drums set up. We'll just label this drums. Click OK. And then we'll solo these up, and we'll raise the volume up here a little bit. So that was recorded in this room that I'm sitting in, and what I have here is a kick sample on there as well. So let me pull the kick sample out, and what I was going after when I originally had the idea for this song was a 70s classic rock, Zeppelin-y meets modern day rock. So that's kind of the vibe that I was going for, down to everything from the drum sound to the guitar sound. So let's take the sample out of there. That's what the kick sounded like, very 70s kind of sounding. But then I added a sample in, which is that. Okay, so let's get the level set here so we can get a mix going. So pull these overheads down a little bit. Also have a snare sample. This is the sample. It's a Keplinger sample from the Slates set up there, and then this is the snare. Pull that hat back a little bit. This room mic. Tambourine. Now we're going to bring some bass in. Guitars in.
Shot it down, didn't stand a prayer. Round one, go to I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right when my target was. You had quite the little cover. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke? Now can you see me?
I'm going to jump over to the original mix and show you where it was at.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air. So hard, I swear I gotta be there. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun, I'm ready to show you just how to light up a duck and leave. Stepping off and letting me pull the trigger. You gotta tell me, was this just on a big joke? Now can you see me through all of your gunsmoke?
Now I think what I'll do is start putting on processing on the, now that I got a rough balance set up. And nothing's balanced, it's just where I hear things going to. Let me pull the samples out. The original kick by itself is a little weak. I'm not a purist, so I don't mind using samples if I have to, or processing, any type of processing, so I'm not really a purist. But having said that, when it comes to drums, I like to use the original as much as possible. But for the sound I'm going after, I'm not going to be able to do that with this mix. I'm going to push Alt right here, and I'm going to put the Pro Q3 plugin on here as my first. And that will take it and put it all the way across my session on all my channels. So I'll have that on everything. I may not use it on everything, but it'll be there. The next one I'm going to do is come down here and put the BX SSL 4000E. We'll use that. Okay. And there is this is the original kick drum. So what I'm going to do is take that out of solo and then just do the kick and the snare together so I can hear something. And then I'm going to add the bass since we're working with those lower frequencies. And the sample's not in right now. I'm going to bring a little bit of the snare sample in though. What I'm going to do is go big boost there on the low end. What I'm going to do is take everything from 40 and filter that out, maybe 50. And going to go up here to the compression, turn the threshold up a little bit. Still on that kick there. Now I'm going to pull the low end down. It's getting a little too much. What I'm going to do too is also I'm going to pan the guitars. Opens up that center a little bit for that kick drum. Bring in the sample. Okay, what I'm going to do here too is mess with the panning on the drums. And we are going to go to a place where the drum toms come in. want to get a little more, take some of the boxiness out and then add a little more bottom and a little bit of snap to that tom. Make it come alive. Now what I might do here is search for a frequency here that is ugly. I might copy this over. We'll go with that. Okay. Let's work with this sample a little bit.
Hey.
What I did there is I just turned up the gain on the WAV file there to get a little more signal from that. Okay, what I want to do is just listen to the intro of the original. Listen to that snare. Let's make sure we don't have any phasing going on those kick drums. Let's just check that. Oh, that's off there. There we go. So they're good. So wanted a little more snap on that, and we'll get it with this snare, but I'm combining the two. Okay. See, if I take either one of those snares away, the sample or the original, it loses something. Just take a listen here. I'm going to mute the sample. Okay. Now, I'm not spending too much time on these things. Sometimes I grapple when I'm not doing a live video. Sometimes I grapple with sounds, and what I've kind of learned is sometimes we just make mountains out of molehills as mixers, and we don't move on. And we can spend a day just working on the drum set. So I'm moving fairly quickly. And things may change as we bring in more stuff, but this is where we're at so far. So let's get the overheads. Copy that one over to the ride side.
Now can you see me through all of your Gunsmoke? Quick draw and wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I gotta be there. Gleaming sunshine.
That original snare was a little too much low end after I re-listened to it. And once we get Verb on there, that snare will stand out even more. What I want to do with this room mic is totally crush it. So. Come down here to the CLA 76. Everything else alone.
Now can you see me through all
add a
of
little
your
snap on that original kick. A little more. About 6.
quick draw and wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I gotta be there. Gleaming sunshine right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round 2 goes me now. Load a gun.
Now I have nothing set on the aux bus for the drums or the submix. In fact, I'm not going to use those for the submix. Take those out. Actually, I'll leave the Pro Q3 there. So I have nothing on my bus groups at all yet, except for the plugins that I put across the board, but there's nothing engaged on them. In fact, I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to put on my favorite bus compressor for drums right now. It used to be the FG Red, which I still use quite a bit, but right now my favorite is the BX Townhouse bus compressor from Plug-in Alliance. This gives it a little gritty and pulls that kick forward quite a bit.
Hey.
And, go with a lower ratio threshold. You can see I'm not doing much. Just taking maybe a dB off. If I want to take a little more off, do that. And then attack up a little bit. Just pulls things forward on that drum set. There's bypass. There is on. Okay, let's add a little verb to that. I'm going to hit Control Save or Command Save, whatever you're using there. And I'm going to put the EQ after the verb in case I want to do something with that. And we may put an EQ on the bus, the drum bus, but right now we're just going to leave it as is. I'm not really a top-down mixer, even though I'm starting to enter some of that by putting stuff on the buses, but it's not, for me, I don't consider that top-down. I work my way up from the bottom because I want to try to get the sounds as close as possible without having the buses to affect the sound until I'm pretty close to what I'm wanting. So here we go to the reverb, and I'm going to use, actually what I'm going to use is the T-Rax CSR plate here on the drums. I have a bunch of reverbs, some really good ones, and then these are pretty underrated. Once you learn them, they're really good to use. So we're going to start with the snare. Is that where I put it on? The snare or the toms? So snare verb. So let's pull that snare verb down and come over here to the snare. And I'm going to pull that fader back just a little bit. So let's take a listen to that.
Hey.
There is the snare verb. Let's bypass that. Tighten up the time a little bit. Let's go into the advanced levels. Okay, so I'm looking here. Input output mix is fine. Okay, I want to go to time, reverb time. Tighten that up a little bit. Take the high frequency down. Pull that high frequency out of that verb out a little bit. Come over here to the reverb size 14. I want to make that a little bit bigger. The color is just more high frequency cutoff or low frequency cutoff. There. Let's hear it in the context of the mix.
Demon sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two, go me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show you just how to light up a black.
There's the sample. There's the original. Okay, what I'm going to do is pull the snare verb over to the send over to the sample and see what that does.
Hey.
Now that's all done to taste, so you may hear it different, but again, the WAV files are available for you if you want them, and you can mix this yourself, but there we are for that. Okay, let's give some attention to the bass. We'll come back and revisit things, but we need to keep moving here.
Hey.
Pushing 2.5 dB at about 700 hertz really gets it to stand out a little bit. Try some top end up there. Now what I want to do is add some distortion on here, and I got a few of those, but let's see here. Let's go with the decapitator. Let's move up here in the mix. Bypass the distortion on here once, see what happens.
Quick draw, wave your guns in the air. So hard, I swear I gotta be there. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two, go me now. Load a gun, I'm ready to show you.
I'm not sold on the bass sound yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this track here. I'm going to come over here and duplicate it because I'm going to probably have a dry signal and a wet signal coming through. I'm going to keep the inserts off, keep the sends the same. So there, now we have two. Mess with the hi-hat as I'm listening here. I usually do drummer's perspective. That's just a choice that I make. You can certainly do what you want. We'll cut all the lows out. A little bit cleaner sound. That's just a personal choice there too. Hi-hat bleed that's catching those hats too. So what I'm going to do, coming back to the drums here, I'm going to take and copy this reverb over to the toms, but I'm going to make the toms a little bit bigger than what we have for the snare. So let's go find the toms. First thing we have to do is make sure that the tom verb is turned on. So we'll go here, unbypass that, channel verb up just a little bit so I can... Okay. Try to get a little more verb out of that if I can, just a little bit. No. Reverb. Okay, we'll start there. We may come back to that, but that'll give us something. Let's go to the guitars. Let's go to the intro guitars. And the guitars were recorded with a black Strat that I use, and I did the guitars myself. And I use my 11 rack. I13 is the channel that I have. I think it's just a Marshall setting. And that was for the intro. Did the same thing, a different channel, I think, for the second guitar. Black Strat, 11 rack, I3, same thing. So use the same sound for that. And then I use a PV Classic 30 for the other track that will be coming up here. And same Black Strat. I use the same guitar. Not sure why. So this is a mic'd up with a 57. This guitar is in the left speaker right now. You know, one thing about the guitars, you know, everybody says to high pass them, you know, like this track, because I'm using a Strat with single coils on it, I'm not getting a lot of low end rumble. So, you know, it's kind of subjective whether we go and take some more low end out of these guitars or not, because they're not really interfering with the kick drum or the bass, but we could just remove the information just to not have it there. So let's listen to that. So we'll take out about 44. You could tell when that PV comes in, it's got a lot more mid-range than the other guitars. I can add actually a little more by coming down to that 700, 500, 700 area. So if you're DI guitars or your 11 rack type setup guitars are sounding a little thin, a good place to add a little meat is around that 600 to 700 hertz in there. Kind of my little rush lick there. A little chorusy. Whether I put compression on the guitars or not will be made, not that they need compression, but more so if I want to change some of the tone to the guitars. So what I'm going to do is come here and actually put on, let's use the Townhouse on these two. I just love the grit that the Townhouse has. Let's see if there's a default we can check out for guitars. I'm not sure that there is. Nothing really for electric, but you know, let's do edgy master and see where that gets us. Just pulls things forward a little bit. The attack we're going to turn up to about 10 milliseconds. So let's find the vocals, and we'll start with verse 1. Let's go to verse 1. I think on the original session of this, I used the CLA, the vocals here. I did like the way the vocals turned out on this originally.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of...
Okay, so let's, first thing I'm going to do is actually turn up the clip gain a little bit more.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer.
So what I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to add the Pro MB on here, and we're going to listen to that again.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right when when my target was. You had quite the little covert. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did ya.
Right there. I'm just going to clip gain that out of there. So I'm just going to select that. We'll tighten in on it a little bit. And I'm going to take that down.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew. Preston, boy, you did your homework. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew.
There.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that over to there and the EQ as well.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was.
Now I'm going to put down here, I'm going to go and put CLA2A on here.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert.
Copy that over.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite.
Okay, we're going to put a de-esser on the very first one here. So let's go to dynamics. And one of my go-to de-essers, and I have several of them, but the R de-esser from Waves is one of my favorites. R de-esser there.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Preston, boy, you did.
You know, we could also take it out with the Pro MB.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Preston, boy.
Right there.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew. Preston, boy, you did your. Preston, boy, you did your homework. Preston, boy, you did your homework. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert.
Let's go Pro MB over to there. Okay, since I'm using the same mic on her except for one channel, I'm going to copy these parameters over and we will see how that goes here. Okay, so we'll do that. Take that one off. And we'll copy, drag that over, drag that one over. Now, I suppose technically I could put everything on this vocal bus here, but the thing is, the way she's singing, it's so dynamic that each channel kind of needs its own settings. So I have a feeling I will come in here and change these, but to start with, we will start there rather than putting all the processing on one bus. And again, if you want, you can actually go download these files and click the link, and you can sign up and get those files, the files that I'm working on right now. So I appreciate everybody so far watching, and let's keep moving here. I'm going to grab a drink.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert.
Okay, so let's add some verb and delay on here. So one of my go-to verbs for vocals is the LX480 complete. And then delays, there's a couple different delays I like to use. One is the H delay from Waves, one of my favorites. And we'll try using that for both. I usually use a short delay and a long delay. Not that you have to. You certainly do what you want. Turn the analog off to get the hiss out of there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is turn the short delay up, and let's listen to that.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air.
Okay, we're going to turn that feedback down.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart, stood up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You have quite the little covert. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer.
Yeah, I think that delay will work. And again, that's just a preference thing. There's no hard and fast rules to what you can do. So, in fact, I hate the videos that say the 3 rules of mixing, or the rules of anything, really, when it comes to mixing, because really there's no rules. So I never understand the rules videos. So I'm not a fan of them. So anyway, there's no rules. Do what you like, do what your listeners like, and go from there.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer.
And the mic I used on her voice was an Audio-Technica 4033. So it's not a very expensive mic at all. I mean, it's like, I think new it was like $400 or $500, and used you can get them for about $3 maybe, I think.
You took some
here's what we've done
shots
so far.
at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You have quite...
Let's find the reverb that we want here.
Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down where my target was. You had quite the little covert. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So let's work on that. Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Ooh.
Okay. So we've been mixing a little over an hour, probably close to an hour and 10 minutes maybe, once I got a few of the bugs worked out. This is my first live video I've ever done, so I've had a few bugs and glitches at the front end, but hopefully, yeah, we're moving along. So let's keep working on the vocal.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
See, now the EQ for what she was doing on the verse is not really working for this chorus section. So
you gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your Gunsmoke?
Okay, let's take the LA2A over.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
Okay.
You gotta tell me, was this...
So I'm going to take and pan those background vocals left and right.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a... You gotta tell me, was this just all a... You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your Gunsmoke? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your Gunsmoke? Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I gotta be there. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Stepping off and letting me pull the trigger. You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your... You gotta tell me.
The vocals are definitely the most difficult thing on a track. Yeah, so let's keep plugging away the vocals.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the clip gain here. This seems a little quieter than that.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
So that one right there, I'm going to make that a dynamic EQ as well. So when she hits that, it pulls that frequency down a little bit.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
Right there on that joke part there.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Just all a sick joke. Now can you see me through all of your Gunsmoke? boys your room. Can't give you no room. This ain't a job for Smith and Wesson, but can you hear that click, click, boom? That click, click, boom. You think that I learned a lesson, realized to give your bad boys your room. Can't give you no room. This ain't a job for Smith and Wesson, but can you hear that click?
Okay, I'm gonna put a de-esser on there, or the Pro MB. Let's go. Let's just drag this down here.
You think that I learned a lesson, realized to give your bad boys your room.
Let's take the Pro MB over. And how I do that in Pro Tools, I don't know if your DAW, you can certainly mix in any DAW and get great results, but in Pro Tools, to drag that over, I just push Alt or Option. I always say Alt, so sorry. Option, and then drag it over. I am using a Mac, so Option and drag it over, and that carries the parameters over and copies everything, basically.
You think that I learned a lesson, realized to give your bad boys your room. Can't give you no room.
Takes a little sizzle out.
This ain't a job for Smith and Wesson, but can you hear that click, click, boom?
Okay, right here is a swell-in guitar. Okay, let's throw a little verb on those guitars. Let's see here. Let's use Deverb. It's a stock reverb that comes with Pro Tools. And, you know, you could put some effects on this to make some crazy effects if you wanted to, but... some of the high frequency out. Let's take the decay out a little bit. Okay, we'll try that, and then let's put some verb. Well, I'm going to wait to put verb on the other guitars until I can go back to the beginning, and I want to keep moving towards the end of the song here. Okay, right there is there's a gun cock and a gunshot, so don't be alarmed when you hear this. Okay, so what I want to do with that gunshot, the gun cock is right here before the guitar swell, and the gunshot is afterwards. Just special effects to go in line with the song title of Gunsmoke. The song is actually about that narcissistic person in your life. Not shooting them, but they produce a lot of gun smoke and fog and stuff like that. So, okay, so let's go. Get the click here first. Let's pronounce that click a little bit more. Here we go. A little more pronounced. Let's get a little more than that. And I want a little reverb on that. And I'm just going to use the deverb again. It's quick and easy to use, and you get a good sound out of it. So let's turn this on. Too much. Too much. Let's label this so I don't forget. I got stuff popping up on my other screen here, so we'll call this key verb. Could call it effects verb because this is an effect. There, we'll start there, and let's go. We'll copy that over to the gunshot sound and see where we're at with that. Take some of the low end out of that. So on the original recording, what I have is the gunshot happening on the left, and then I panned all the way going over to the right, so it's like it's in a canyon. So it's like you hear, it's like an echo in a canyon. So you'll hear it, and then you'll hear it echo to the other side. So I'm not going to do that right now. We're just going to finish this. Too much 4K. Okay, let's just loop that shot there. So let's... By itself, it sounds fine. In the mix, it sounds a little like it needs some work. Okay, let's put a little compression on there. We'll do a CLA 76. Okay. What'd you do today? I watched this guy mix a song, and he spent 5 minutes on getting this gunshot sound. So we're going to move along here. On the original track, it sounds like this. Let me pull up that. Let me get it off loop here. You gotta tell me, was this just on a single? Okay, let's define those keyboard effects here. Take a listen to them. Just get them to poke a little bit more out. And I think on the original recording, I did pan these from like left to right or right to left as well. So just adding a little more ear tickler into the song. We got that keyboard sound, a little rushy, a little rush sounding. Draw a little more top end out of that. And what I'm going to do is go to another favorite EQ. My two other favorite EQs are the Sheps 73 from Waves and then the REQ6. So I want to Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull those vocals forward. There's several plugins that I use a lot for compression. One of my favorites is the Arvox, and I just started using it maybe a year ago, year and a half ago on a regular basis on my vocals. Let's come down here and grab it. This will help give me a tighter vocal sound. Also give me more gain. Right there, I want to pull that. You gotta tell me, was this just all a sit? Okay, I'll pull that up just a little more. And what I'm using here is clip gain if you're using a different DAW than Pro Tools. I'm not to the... And I probably won't do it for this video because this video is already getting too long. But when this ends here, I will go and do automation on this and record it and then put it up. And I'm going to pull the Arvox over to the background vocals. You gotta tell And what I'm going to do is add some top end to those background vocals.
You gotta tell me what's the, you gotta tell me what's,
Okay, and then add some verb, maybe a little more than there is.
you gotta tell me,
And add some of that delay.
you gotta tell me, was this just all a scene? You gotta tell me, was this just all a scene? Now can you see? You better see it through all of my Gunsmoke. Oh yeah. Can you see me? Can you see me?
Here we're coming up to the guitar solo. So what I'm going to do here is put a delay right on the channel. I normally don't do this a lot, except for maybe on a guitar solo or even a vocal part that I want a certain effect out of. So I'm going to put the H delay. Okay, not too much feedback. Put a high pass filter on there so the delay isn't heading to the end. On the lead channel, I'm taking everything from about 112 out. It doesn't need to be there. There's everything bypassed on the solo. And what I did on the original was do a fade. Okay, so now we pretty much got everything set on most of the individual channels. I think I did most of it. Now what I do is I'll put something on the submix here. We're coming in a little hotter than I like to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and select all, and then I'm going to pull everything down just a few dB, maybe about right there, and I'm going to unselect all, and then I'm going to click Alt on the 2 master. Oops. Keyboard's acting up again. All right, so there we go. We are at Unity on there, the submix and the master. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a plugin called Insight on the Insight 2 from Isotope. That'll just let us know kind of what we're pushing for levels. Okay. All right. So the guitar lead might be a little loud. Now, if I were doing an entire album, I would not put too much on the submix or the master bus, because I would do like most of the processing in the mastering stage, which is what I did with this album. So when I'm doing like a track of 10 songs for an album, that my master sounds congruent from song to song. For like a one-off mix, I will get my mix to this point, and then I will put some stuff on the master bus. But I will automate before I do that. I'm not going to automate in this video. We're just going to get things set to a static mix. And I think what I'll do is, after this is done, because this is getting so long, is do another video and then automate effects and automate all the other things like the vocals and some of the guitars, drums where it needs to be. So what I want to do is I'm going to put a bus compressor on here. I'm going to stay with the BX Townhouse, and I'm going to just kind of choose one of the Master Glue. We'll try that one and hear what that sounds like. What I'm going to do is come here and select all the channels again, minus the submix, and I'm going to create a group, Command G, and that was popping over there, and I'm going to call this all channels except M-Bus. Okay, and I'm going to turn all these up until I get an acceptable level. Start right there. Okay, and then I'm going to take that off. Okay. The other thing I like to do on my mixes is I will put a limiter on here, not because I want limiting, and I'm using Ozone 9. And the reason I put this on is just to check the delays and the verbs on the vocals and different things. Sometimes when you start hitting it with a limiter, it can really pull out some of the delays and verbs if they're coming in too strong. So let's just check that. Go back to close to the beginning. We've pretty much gone through the whole song, and this is my typical process. I will go through it and through basically the way we just did it and get everything set, and then I will start fine-tuning everything. So we have let me look how long we've been going. So 119 minutes, almost 2 hours almost, and we have a good basis of a mix. And what I will do from here is get it more polished yet. Now, some groups you work with may not want that polished sound. I have worked with a couple indie bands where they don't want that commercial sound at all. So it was actually kind of difficult to unpolish a sound if you've ever tried to. So, and some of it just happens when you're tracking. So let's just take a quick listen to what we've done here and go from there. Automate this up a little bit. So right there too, when the guitars come in, the that will get automated along with the snare to boost those parts right there. So when you come in, it just comes in pretty hard. So those parts. The snare, I'll probably have some stronger reverb effect on there, something to get it to really pop.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was.
So right here, this line, round one for you, my love, or whatever. I'm gonna pop that out.
Yeah, round one goes to you, my love.
Okay, let's just bring that.
Yeah, round one goes to you, my love. Hey.
Turn that part down just a little bit. I'm using clip gain. I'm not doing any writing the faders yet because I'm not there.
Hey.
Okay, get that a little bit more.
Hey. Hey.
Tighten in here. Hit T. If this box is checked here, you can hit T to tighten in, R to reverse. And what I'm going to do here is adjust the clip gain on these little chunkas. Same with snare. I'm going to turn that sample up just a bit. Maybe too much. That might be too much there. I want a little more of that guitar.
guns
Bret
in the
part down
air.
right there.
So
Yeah.
hot, I swear I gotta beat the demons in the air. So hot, I swear I gotta beat. Quick draw you way.
Right there, I'm going to take that breath thing she does and turn that down a little bit.
Quick draw you wave your guns in the air. Quick draw.
And that was intentional the day we tracked. That was something that she wanted to add. And I think maybe on the other mix, I might have separated that out to another channel and processed it different. I don't remember now. I'd have to go back and look at that mix session.
Quick draw you wave your guns in the air. So hot, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya.
See what this sounds like with all the processing we've done by that.
Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
And let's listen to this bypass.
Quick draw you wave your guns in the air. So hot, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student
my gain
turns
staging
into
structure
the
changed a little bit. Her
teacher.
vocals a little
Round
louder.
two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger. Quick draw you wave your guns in the air. So hot, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night.
I'm going to go put some processing on the bus, drum bus here. Boosting that.
You'd think that I had learned my lesson, realized to give your bad boys your.
Okay, well, so listen to the drums here, and you can see what the mix bus processing I did here on the very end, what it's doing. This is doing nothing right here, so it's going to make that inactive. But these two, the bus compressor and the sheps.
Quick draw you wave your guns in the air. So hot, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher.
Gets it a little more polished, and not a lot of heavy lifting there. Just a little boost at 12K, like 1.5 dB. This 1.6K, about 1.5 dB, is really pulling out the ride cymbal when he goes to the ride on the chorus. And then just boosting the low end a little bit to give it a little more meat.
Quick draw you wave your guns in the air. So hot, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just.
Yeah, so that's the drums.
Quick draw you wave your guns in the air. So hot, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
Just the drums. Again, those drums were recorded right in this room here.
Can't give you no room.
My first pass is getting kind of everything where I'm liking some of the EQs and maybe polishing up the overall sound on the buses that I have for each group. And I keep my buses, everybody does it a little different, but I keep my buses up until I get ready to do the final mix, all right next to each instrument. So like the drums, I have the drum bus there, snare and tom verb there. And bass, same thing. I don't have the basses to an aux because there's only two. If I had like amps with it, then I would put it on maybe an aux. But I just grouped these together so I can move the volumes up and down together. And the guitars, I do have them bussed to a bus, and not a lot of processing on there. Same with vocals, verb and stuff. And on the original recording, that when you download these files, you'll have the original recording and you can see where it's come from. But I have a lot of effects on the vocals that I don't have on here yet. And I'm not going to get to that on this live video. Otherwise, we would be here even longer. So I'm going to try to wrap this up in another 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know if any of you have any questions on how I do my process or maybe how you would do it different. Feel free to ask, because you know what? Mixing is very subjective. I'm purposely going for a different sound than the original mix that I did, more of a warmer sound. Let's continue on just a little bit longer here. I'm going to...
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
See, what I did there was I just wanted a little more meat on the guitar, so I basically brought in the Lindell channel and boosted about 700 hertz.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
Okay, I think I'm going to about wrap it up here. And, you know, you can hear everything in the mix and nothing's balanced perfectly level with each other. The guitars are a little louder than some things, but the bass has its place, the guitars have their place, the vocals have their place, the drums have their place. And that's what, when you mix, one thing that I listen to, and, you know, we've been doing this for maybe 2 hours tops at the most for mixing. So within a matter of 2 hours, have a pretty decent mix happening right now. Just maybe some fine tuning, and then once you get the fine tuning done, you move to automation. I save automation for very last, because if you start tweaking some things inside an automation, it just makes things very messy if you have to go back and touch things up at all. So I hope this has been helpful. Appreciate you hanging today. It's been fun, a little nervous because I haven't gone live. It's like someone standing over your shoulder while you're mixing, and I'm just another mixer on YouTube. But a home studio guy, that's my main emphasis, and how you can get really good sounding recordings in your home. And I'm going to pause and stop the live video, but I'm going to continue on with this and automate and throw the special effects in, and then I will put that up as a separate video because this one's getting way too long already. But I sure appreciate you showing up today. It means a lot to me, and hopefully you've subscribed. If you haven't, I would love it if you would, and we will see you in another video.